Hey guys, welcome back to Paper Highlighter, your front row seat to the messiest, most unhinged moments in the 90-day universe. Buckle up because tonight's lineup is pure chaos. First up, we've got Jasmine in full meltdown mode. Shaved head, mascara cheers, pink striped pajamas, telling Facebook she misses her kids but can't see them because ex-husband Gino allegedly reported her to immigration. Some viewers are crying with her, but a whole lot more are handing out Oscars, Razzies, and Grammys in the comments instead of sympathy. Meanwhile, that's not the only Jasmine storyline exploding. She's suddenly announcing a full pivot to stay-at-home mom life with baby Matilda, saying she's done talking about her situation with Matt. At the exact same time, Matt is on camera wondering if Matilda is even his and asking if ex-Dane might actually be the dad. Stay-at-home era meets paternity panic, and the fandom is losing it. Then we jet over to Turkey, where Shekinah just confirmed she and Sarper are done. And she says he literally kicked her off his comedy tour. Fans are calling it the most on-brand breakup ever. He kept the spotlight, lost the wife, and they're still not sure if anyone finds him funny on stage. And in classic 90-day fashion, the husband's behavior is on trial. Libby says Andrei's divorce ultimatum is flat out disrespectful, with castmates calling his attitude toxic and controlling. And Jovi, he's swearing he never contacted a divorce lawyer, while Andrei is on the tell-all, spilling a very different story. And Reddit is convinced Jovi's face already confessed. So hit like, slam that subscribe button, ring the bell so you never miss the next messy update, and tell me in the comments whose side you're on in tonight's drama. All right, let's dive in. Roll the title card for our first story. Jasmine's tears, Gino's report, and Facebook's fury. She's sobbing in pink striped pajamas with a shaved head and swollen eyes. And Facebook basically replied, and the Oscar goes to... Shocking. This is our first big story tonight. Jasmine uploads a tearful video saying she misses her kids but can't see them because ex-husband Gino allegedly reported her to immigration. And instead of support, the comments turned into an award show for best performance in a Facebook drama. So picture this. Close-up shot, ring light on, Jasmine in bedhead PJs, bald head on full display. Eyes red, tears rolling. Across the bottom of the clip, a caption basically screams, "I miss my kids, but I can't travel. Gino reported me." It sounds heartbreaking until you scroll down. The top comments, absolutely savage. One viewer writes, "Is she auditioning for a role?" Another, "And the Oscar goes to..." Then it snowballs. And the Grammy goes to 90-Day Fiancé Jasmine. And the Razzie goes to this performance. A huge chunk of the audience is not reading this as raw pain. They're calling it Jasmine the actress, giving us yet another emotional monologue. Then the focus shifts from her tears to her appearance. People are asking, what happened to her hair? Where is her hair? Others zoom in on her brows. Why is one eyebrow higher than the other? Someone even jokes about the shaved sections of scalp. Instead of talking about immigration or separation from her kids, the thread is obsessing over her makeover and every frame of that close-up frame. But the deepest cuts are about her motherhood. One commenter reminds everyone she didn't even live with her kids in Panama. Another says they feel zero sympathy because in their view, she chose to leave her child behind to chase an American dream with Gino. A mom writes a whole paragraph about how she'd never leave her kids for a relationship, especially one that looked this unstable from day one. For those fans, this isn't a tragic twist. This is the fallout from choices Jasmine made on camera. And then there's the immigration skepticism. Some users say if she already has a green card, Gino reporting her wouldn't automatically block travel, that the card is valid while a case is under review. Others point out that her new partner, Matt, could just fly back with her and baby Matilda. They're basically saying if you can do glam, set up a ring light, and upload a crying video, you can click book flight. The math for them doesn't add up. But buried under the sarcasm is a quieter pocket of empathy. Some moms say they genuinely feel for her. One woman talks about living just an hour away from her daughter and grandkids and still finding that distance so hard. So another continent? Unimaginable. Others bring up the stress of immigration, the fear of deportation, and the pressure of having all of this play out on reality TV while millions judge your every move. A few commenters try to live in the gray area. They admit Jasmine comes from a tough background, and moving to the U.S. could have been her attempt to build a better future, even if it meant temporary separation from her kids. They point to the toxic marriage with Gino, the on-camera humiliation, the hints about her mental health. They see the bald head, the swollen eyes, and they don't see a stunt. They see a burned-out woman who might actually be at her breaking point. Still, the harshest line keeps echoing. America is more important than her kids. For a lot of viewers, once they believe you chose fame and the U.S. over your children, it's almost impossible to win them back, no matter how many tears you cry on Facebook Live. So, what about you? Is this a desperate mom trapped in a messy immigration nightmare, or another episode of Jasmine the Performance for clout and comments? And just when you think Jasmine's Facebook meltdown is the peak of tonight's chaos, don't touch that dial. Because up next, we're diving into Shekinah's bombshell claim that Sarper chose his comedy tour over their marriage, and the punchline is brutal. Shekinah hops on Instagram stories, no clickbait title, no cutesy caption, and calmly drops the bomb. She and Sarper are no longer together. For a couple that built their entire TV arc around control, drama, and big declarations, this moment felt weirdly honest. No producer, no confessionals, just her saying it's over. Then she takes it a step further. She reveals that Sarper kicked her off his comedy tour. This is the same tour she helped hype, the same shows where fans showed up expecting to see the outrageous couple from TV. She says he treated her poorly throughout the tour and made it clear she wouldn't be welcomed at future dates. No more backstage selfies, no more supportive partner in the front row. In her words and actions, she's not just off the guest list, she's out of the storyline. The comment section? Completely unleashed. One fan joked that the real reason for the divorce is that there just wasn't enough mirror space for two people that obsessed with Botox. Another snarked maybe he doesn't recognize her anymore, tying it right back to the surgery and nose job drama he famously micromanaged. A lot of viewers are like, we knew this was coming. They're dropping, called it from day one. This relationship had expiration date written all over it, and questioning whether this whole comedy tour breakup arc is just a setup for the next spinoff. People are already predicting a last resort appearance where they work through the tour drama, with cameras rolling and checks clearing. Then there's the clowning of the actual comedy career. Comments like, "What career?" and "You have to be funny to be a comedian" are everywhere. One person admitted the only reason they even thought about buying a ticket was to see Shekinah in the audience, not Sarper on stage. That's brutal. The fandom is basically saying she was the draw, not his punchlines. But it's not all jokes. There's real sympathy for Shekinah threaded through the sarcasm. People are telling her to run, saying she'll be much happier without a man who controls her appearance and then tosses her aside when the spotlight hits him. One commenter even said they had a premonition he married her for access and opportunities, and that now, without her, he wouldn't even be standing on an American stage. Others are side-eyeing the immigration angle, wondering who's going to call who about visas if this split gets uglier. What's different about this breakup is the power flip. For so long, Sarper's whole brand was being this hyper-confident, controlling guy who had the final say on her body, her hair, her weight, even her nose. Now, Shekinah is the one drawing the boundary. She's basically saying, you don't get to treat me badly on tour and still use me as a prop in your show. Walking off the stage, literally and metaphorically, is a different kind of mic drop. So you tell me, is Sarper actually chasing a real comedy career, or was the relationship itself the only joke that ever landed? Drop your take in the comments. Team Shekinah dodged a bullet, or team this is just another 90-day promo stunt waiting for a spinoff. Stick around because the Jasmine chaos is far from over. Next up, we're diving into her sudden stay-at-home mom rebrand and why fans think it's less about Matilda and more about dodging her messy situation with Matt. Jasmine Pineda is telling fans she's stepping back from work, drama, and even talking about Matt, all to focus on being a full-time mom. But the way she's framing it and the timing has everyone asking if this is about motherhood or about dodging her messy situation with Matt and his family. In a new set of Instagram stories, Jasmine basically declares, I'm done. Not with social media, but with the constant back and forth about her relationship. She says she's choosing to lean into cooking, cleaning, self-care, workouts, and her stay-at-home mom life with baby Matilda. It sounds wholesome. Pinterest board, soft music, latte foam, all of that. But then she adds the line that really got people talking. She's no longer going to talk about her situation with Matt Brannis. She explains that things have changed a lot between them, supposedly for the well-being of their daughter, and that they want different things but are on good terms for the baby girl. That's reality TV code for we're not okay, but we're pretending to be civil. It doesn't stop there. According to posts reshared by fan account 90dayfiancé.alexa, Jasmine says she's redirecting her energy toward bringing her sons to her, taking care of Matilda, and protecting her mental health. On paper, that sounds like growth. In the comments, though, fans are flashing back to every single time she's changed her tune overnight. Because here's the pattern viewers are calling out. 1 week, Matt is the best man alive, her dream partner, the guy who stepped up. The next week, she's shading him, his family, and their values, hinting that something happened that made her realize she'd never truly be accepted. It's emotional whiplash, and people are saying they can't keep up. A lot of fans think the stay-at-home mom announcement is less about domestic bliss and more about damage control. With all the rumors swirling, immigration issues, custody concerns, family drama, it looks to some like she's trying to control the narrative. I'm not failing, I'm choosing peace. Others suspect she's putting distance between herself and whatever storyline Matt is about to roll out next, especially if more dirty laundry ends up on TV. There's also tension around how fans perceive her priorities. She's saying she wants to bring her sons over and focus on being there for all her kids. But people in the comments haven't forgotten past seasons where she left them behind to chase a relationship in the U.S. Some are openly skeptical, asking whether this is a genuine change of heart or just another chapter in the Jasmine saga. At the same time, there's empathy. Viewers who've watched her spiral on camera, the tears, the panic, the insecurity, are saying maybe this is the healthiest thing she can do. Step away from men, money, and mess, and just be with her kids. The idea of her cooking, working out, and doing school runs instead of fighting on TV has some fans low-key rooting for this arc to be real. But the bigger question hanging over all of this is, what exactly happened with Matt and his family? She hints that their point of view on different things made her realize she'd never be fully accepted,
but she's not naming specifics. That vagueness is like catnip for 90-day viewers. Everyone's filling in the blanks with their own theories, from culture clashes to jealousy to full-blown in-law wars. So is Jasmine finally choosing peace and motherhood over chaos? Or is this just the latest spin to get ahead of whatever Matt and TLC are about to show us next? Let me know which side you're on in the comments. Keep it locked because the situation with Matt she doesn't want to talk about, yeah, that's exactly where we're going next.
Up ahead, Matt is openly wondering if baby Matilda is even his and asking if Jasmine's ex Dane might be the real father. This is where the Jasmine-Matt chaos gets dark. On Happily Ever After, Matt is now questioning whether baby Matilda is even his, with their castmates pushing him toward a paternity test and ex-boyfriend Dane suddenly dragged into the conversation. Here's how it unravels. During the cast hangout, Jovi bluntly asks Matt if he's ever thought about getting a DNA test. Jovi basically calls him naive for just believing what he's told and says with everything they've seen from Jasmine, the New York trips, the drama, the secrets, he should double check. Matt admits on camera that he doesn't fully trust Jasmine. He brings up those frequent trips to New York. That's when Guillermo chimes in with the bombshell. Jasmine's ex, Dane, lives in New York. The entire table shifts. You can see it on Matt's face. It goes from smug to spiraling in 3 seconds. Andrei jumps in too, saying Matt definitely needs to confirm Matilda's paternity. It's like a group intervention, but messier. Then Matt says the quiet part out loud. He'd almost be relieved if the baby turned out to be Dane's. He jokes about not wanting to be chained to the demon, clearly referring to Jasmine, and you can feel the audience recoil. Fans are like, you're talking about your own child's paternity and calling her mother a demon on TV? On the car ride back, it gets even uglier. Matt starts spiraling, asking Jasmine directly if Matilda is really his. He goes into this meltdown mode, worrying how stupid he'll look if the baby isn't biologically his. He even points out that Dane is blonde, Matilda is blonde, and he's connecting dots that may or may not be there, but he's doing it with cameras rolling. He asks, that baby is mine, right? And what are we going to do about the kid? Like he's trying to turn his paranoia into a joint problem they have to solve together. Jasmine, according to fan recaps, is in pure disbelief when Dane's name comes up. She shuts down, refuses to justify herself, and basically acts like the accusation is so offensive it doesn't even deserve a response. The fandom, of course, is split. Some people think Matt is being wildly disrespectful and emotionally abusive, especially since he admitted to sleeping with another woman, Elizabeth, early in their open marriage. They're calling out the hypocrisy. You cheat, you play games, and then you turn around and question your partner's child on national TV? But others say that with Jasmine's history of chaos, secrecy, and constant storyline shifts, it's only natural he'd want to be sure. And then there's the brutal third camp, people who think both of them are a disaster and that Matilda is just another pawn in a very messy reality TV plotline. They're worried this little girl is going to grow up and watch a season where her dad publicly wondered if she was his and said he'd be relieved if she wasn't. So what do you think? Is Matt a paranoid villain crossing every line, or a guy being pushed into a paternity test by a cast and storyline that never stops escalating? Drop your take below. And just when you think the husband behavior on this franchise can't get worse, keep it locked. Because next up, we're heading straight into Andrei and Libby's tell-all showdown, where his divorce ultimatum has fans screaming red flag and calling him emotionally abusive. This is where things stand with 90 Day Fiancé's Libby and Andrei. She's on the couch telling the host his ultimatum was really disrespectful, and he's sitting a few feet away acting like it was just a logical power move. Meanwhile, the entire cast and the entire internet is watching this in real time and calling him out.
In a new tell-all sneak peek, the host asks Libby point blank how she feels about Andrei giving her an ultimatum tied to divorce. No editing, no softening. Libby doesn't fumble at all. She says she finds it disrespectful. You can hear the room get quiet in that specific tell-all way, where everyone's waiting to see if he'll double down or backtrack. Libby explains that when Andrei started bragging about this ultimatum, essentially, do what I want or this marriage is over, it wasn't some cute, passionate moment. It felt like a threat. She tells the host she made it clear. If he wants to go, he can go, but she's not leaving. That line says everything. She's not the one packing bags and storming out. He's the one holding the home together while he dangles divorce like a weapon. Then her castmates jump in. One of them asks how much she actually loves Andrei, and Libby doesn't hesitate. A lot. Another asks if it hurts to hear the person you love talk about divorce so casually. Libby admits it does, and that when he talks like that, it feels like she doesn't even know him at all. Andrei tries to interrupt, of course. He throws in, it hurts when she doesn't listen, like that somehow evens the score. Another cast member steps in and reminds him she's a human being. She has the right to her own opinion. And his instant response? He basically labels her as very opinionated, like that's the real problem here. Someone else on the set points out the obvious. This ultimatum isn't about communication, it's about control. Andrei keeps circling back to what he wants. He wants to move. He wants her to follow. He wants her to do what he says. The more he talks, the clearer it becomes that the ultimatum is less, let's fix our marriage, and more, get in line. Outside of the episode, the comments are brutal. Viewers are calling him a textbook emotional abuser, saying he's draining, toxic, and that his personality is one giant red flag. People are writing things like, he's the worst, and this is not love, this is control. Others are worried for Libby long-term, saying that if this is what he's comfortable saying on camera, imagine what the arguments look like when the cameras are gone. At the same time, some fans are praising Libby for finally naming it. Calling his ultimatum disrespectful on a tell-all couch with him sitting right there is not a small thing, especially in a franchise where so many wives are trained to downplay and smooth over. For a lot of viewers, this is the first time they've seen her truly push back instead of just crying and apologizing. So, where do you land? Is Andrei just intense and blunt like his defenders always say? Or has this crossed fully into emotional abuse territory and Libby needs to draw a harder line? Sound off below. And just when you think the husband behavior can't get any more suspect, don't touch that dial.
Because next, we're talking about Jovi, a maybe divorce lawyer, and a tell-all moment where his face said way more than his mouth did. Jovi and Yara's marriage has been shaky for a long time. Drunken divorce threats, therapy on the last resort, constant bickering. But now there's a brand new layer of drama. Did Jovi actually consult a divorce attorney behind Yara's back and lie about it on national TV? Here's what went down. On the tell-all couch, the host asked Jovi straight up if he ever contacted a divorce lawyer to end things with Yara. Jovi doesn't laugh it off, he doesn't make a joke, he gets serious. He denies it, says no, and that's when Andrei jumps in like the human lie detector. Andrei tells the whole panel that Jovi talked to him about divorcing Yara. He claims Jovi confided that he'd looked into it, or at least seriously considered it. Yara's sitting there hearing this in real time, and you can see the shock on her face. She thought his "I'm gonna divorce you" lines were drunk threats. Now she's wondering if there was an actual plan forming behind her back. The cast is stunned. Remember, this is the same Jovi who every time he gets drunk throws out the word divorce like it's punctuation. He's been making Yara uncomfortable for years with comments about her looks, her body, and even how much she talks. After their daughter Mila was born, that cute party boy energy turned into something darker. Constant irritation, emotional distance, and all those late-night threats. Fans already thought he lacked emotional maturity. Some flat out call him narcissistic, while Yara comes across as sensible, grounded, and exhausted. So now, with Andrei putting him on blast, the internet is connecting the dots. A Reddit thread lit up with people saying Jovi 1000% contacted a divorce attorney. The OP points out that he spent the whole reunion stirring the pot in everyone else's relationship, talking nonsense, and then suddenly clammed up the second his secret came out. One commenter said the look on his face and his body language said it all. Another joked that when Andrei started talking, Jovi had the "I want to kill you on the spot" expression. You can practically see him mentally lunging across the couch while his body stays frozen. Meanwhile, Yara is still in the dark about the full story. On the show, she talks about divorce as scary and focuses on just trying to keep her family together. She wants stability from Mila, a life that isn't just Jovi disappearing to party and then coming home ready to reset everything with the fight. He's talking about moving back to Louisiana. She's trying to hold on to some sense of safety and independence. It feels like they're living two completely different realities under one marriage license. If you had fun messy scrolling with us, hit like, smash subscribe, ring that bell, and tell me in the comments whose side you are on. Follow us on socials for bonus tea between episodes. Tomorrow's upload is packed. Let's just say another 90-day couple is about to turn their happily ever after into a full-blown plot twist.